The Ginetta Junior Championship here at Brands Hatch on the full Grand Prix circuit is about to get underway. They had a frantic race as ever yesterday, and Risa Sirathuran is on pole position for this second 20-minute blast, which will be getting underway in a few moments' time. Cars being released round to the grid, and when they arrive, the championship will reach round 23, and in a sense, with Freddie Slater having moved on and up, it has left the door open for one or two other drivers to shine. Ginetta Junior Racing has always been ultra competitive, and expect more of the same now. The cars then head towards the grid for a 20-minute race on the full Grand Prix circuit. Of course, this, the Ginetta Junior Championship's first season away from the Toka package, and one thing has remained clear, and that is the quality of racing. Risa Sirathuran on pole position, Hugo Schwarzer alongside Alicia Palmowski and Charlie Hart on the second row of the grid on what is a very warm day indeed. Mikey Porter and Mackenzie Douglas on row 3, ahead of Finn Harrison and then Henry Jocelyn, Chase Fernandez and Tom Spragg on row 5. So cars in the 2x2 grid formation, ready for one final formation lap on the full Grand Prix circuit. Great challenging circuit this for the drivers, and then we're going to be in business ready for what promises to be a rather frantic race. All of these drivers with the Ginetta G40, the cars on 100 brake horsepower engines. They are on a Michelin road tyre, sequential gearbox, and everybody on this grid between 14 to 17 years of age. It's been to Walton Park, the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit, the Donington Grand Prix circuit, then back to Silverstone for the Grand Prix and national circuits over the Ginetta Festival weekend, to Snetterton and most recently Cadwell Park. So drivers having a lot of mileage this year and also learning about lots of different circuits, that is for sure. Many of them, of course, new to car racing, some in their second season, and they're on pole position. Risa Sirathuran for R Racing, one of the top teams. Hugo Schwarzer lining up alongside for Elite Motorsport, which is another squad that has, for a number of seasons now, had a very good reputation within the championship. Then you've got on the second row, Alicia Palmowski, who again has been very rapid in the course of the championship this year. And then we have, on the outside of that row, Charlie Hart. Freddie Slater has taken the championship. He has decided to sit out the final two events of the year, but I don't think he can be caught. Hugo Schwarzer, though, is second, ahead of Mikey Porter, or was at least coming into the weekend's activity. There were 5 points between the pair of them coming into the weekend. They had their first 20-minute race yesterday, and of course therefore things will have been shuffled just a touch, with now Hugo Schwarzer having extended that advantage over Mikey Porter. Charlie Hart staying in fourth, Risa Sirathuran is fifth, and Alicia Palmowski sixth, moving ahead of Chase Fernandez after yesterday's race. Finn Harrison staying 8th, Mackenzie Douglas still 9th, and Luca Hopkinson rounding out the top 10. I think they've got one more car still to retrieve from the earlier GB4 race, and once that is out of the way, then the Ginettas can be released onto a formation lap. At the very back of the grid is Felix Libsey, who will be another driver to watch to see what progress he can make during the course of 20 minutes. And as the grid is formed, everybody good to go. Let's just have a quick look at the Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit lap. You've got the very rapid right-hander of Paddock, plunge downhill, climb out the other side towards Druids, drop down again to Graham Hill Bend. Surtees, that long left takes you onto the Grand Prix circuit, where you drop, you climb again up towards Hawthorns. Westfield comes next towards Dingle Dell. Sheen Curve, the slightly back left of Stirling, short straight down to Clearways into Clark Curve, and then up to the end of the lap. So Risa Sirathuran, it is on pole position, and we look forward to what promises to be a very lively race. Lewis McGlade will guide you through it, and Lewis, yesterday's race in true Ginetta Junior fashion was full of drama as well.
Just classic Ginetta Juniors there. Cheers, Addis. And yeah, it was crazy. You know what Ginetta Juniors are like. They're just all over the place. Sirathuran taking that victory. Schwarzer in second as well. 10th podium. of the season for Schwarzer there. So brilliant stuff. But can't wait to see what's going to happen in this race. I've said before, I said it yesterday when I was on with Harry Benjamin, that I'm quite biased towards Zuruthan. He'll start from pole position. Hugo Schwarzer will start from second alongside on the front row, and then we've got Palmovsky starting from third. Charlie Hart starting from fourth position on that second row, with Mikey Porter and Mackenzie Douglas starting from sixth. As we head down through the rest of the field, you can see Finn Harrison, who had a couple of issues yesterday, alongside Henry Jocelyn in eighth. The final couple of positions inside the top 10 seat. Chase Fernandez, who was off a couple of times. Tom Spragg had a couple of incidents in that race that sent him off the road, especially through this corner at Surtees. Then we've got Luca Hopkinson and, of course, Edu Robinson, who was a retirement from the race quite late on yesterday. Unfortunately, one of those drivers in the rookie category that was going so strong over the proceedings. Alfie Davies will be starting from 13th, with Brie Anglis in 14th place. The final few positions in the final three rows see Nick Ellis and Harry Moss starting from 15th and 16th position. Jack Robinson and Holly Mayo starting from 18th for the Fox Motorsport team. And then the final position, Felix Livesey, will be starting from 19th. Yes, touching on yesterday, it was a brilliant win for Zuruthan. Of course, in that number 78, again, that's my racing number. We were discussing that quite a lot with Harry Benjamin yesterday. It was a crazy race, and I guarantee, ladies and gents, this one will be crazy as well. It's something about the Michelin Ginetta Junior Championship that always delivers when it comes to craziness and frantic racing. And of course, this is the 23rd race of this season, this fantastic season. We've seen so much when it comes to the brilliant action these Ginettas put on. We'll see as we ride on board with Mikey Porter there. You can kind of get that feeling, that tension underneath the race start. You might see quite a few other grids over the weekend where they get separated quite a bit. On this one, the grid is really tight. First and second start are actually the same point on the front row. And we were discussing this yesterday. We were looking at it yesterday. Quite a lot of drivers that were starting from second place were actually getting better starts and going on the attack in the first corner. So watch out for Hugo Schwarzer to potentially try and make something stick around the outside. Of course, Hugo in that 33, the one that's closest to camera, obviously would have to get past our race winner yesterday, Zuruthan, to do so. And that one isn't going to be so easy. We'll get ourselves ready for the penultimate Ginetta Junior race of the weekend. Of course, we do have another one coming up shortly. You can see how tightly packed they are on that grid. The 5-second board is held aloft. The lights will come on, and we will get ready to go racing. Zuruthan with the control from pole position. Let's see if that start is going to be good. It is actually quite a good start from Zuruthan. It was actually a poor one there from Hugo Schwarzer, and might well lose out to the number 21 of Alicia Palmovsky. Straight to the inside, there's contact though in that first corner. That's Chase Fernandez, who's gone off over the right-hand side. I think joined by maybe Moss or Robinson. Certainly someone back there as well. Looking down the inside, there's a couple of attacks as we head our way up. That'll be Finn Harrison trying to go on the attack in that Wera car, almost making his way through. I think he certainly did, maybe with a little bit of contact as well. We ride on board with Livesey, who started from the rear of the field, obviously picking up a couple of positions courtesy of that drama on the first lap. But it is still Zuruthan leading from Schwarzer, or rather from Palmovsky, working her way up into that second place after the poor start from Schwarzer. Almost contact there as Finn Harrison was giving a little bit of a pinch going onto the back stretch as we start our rise up the hill. We ride on board with the number 31 Livesey. Once again, still looking for any opportunity to make any sort of move. We're not going to get one just here. Zuruthan leads, Palmovsky into second position, Schwarzer and Porter in all of that. I think Hart had quite a slow start there, a bit of a sluggish one, dropping back from fourth position on the grid, unfortunately. Did see him in the mid-pack. That's out wide, though, for Schwarzer. A couple of issues on the start of this race. This could be Porter making their way through the inside run as they head up towards the Sheen curve. You can see that track that you can take on the inside. Out wide, though, goes Porter, overcooking it a little bit, and Schwarzer comes straight back through. So overcooking it on consecutive corners between the two drivers. Douglas has had a problem dropping right the way down the order, unfortunately, for the number 24. That's a big shame for them after what looked like quite a decent start, but alas, not on this occasion. Gives a position back to Hart, and there is the number 26. So that's a bit of a shame. I think that is Jocelyn, who's going to be getting out of the car. So there's clearly been some drama. We'll have to wait and see. There is Suwuruthan taking the defensive move. Palmovsky trying to go on the attack. There's confirmation of Jocelyn dropping down the order. Douglas, we believe, has just stopped, but Jocelyn was certainly in a bit of an incident, so we'll have to wait and see if there's going to be a safety car intervention. There's more at turn 1 as well. Someone has gone off behind all of the gravel there, all the dust being kicked off. We'll have to wait and see who that was. But Suwuruthan, I mean, it's kind of now or never. You're seeing all these incidents happening, and Palmovsky will surely want to go on the attack ASAP. No confirmation of a safety car just yet, so it's fine to be racing. Palmovsky looks to the inside, a bit of a lock-up as well there, trying to push their way through, coming through Surtees. We're coming up towards the first, this second run rather, out onto the back stretch. We're being told it's Livesy's been off potentially at the first corner, and there is the move straight back from Schwarzer. So picking up after that attempt from Palmovsky. The double-waved yellows are coming out here, so Palmovsky will have to drop back in line, and now we have the confirmation of the safety car. So the race will be neutralised, and we can all take a breath. Whew. That was, again, classic Michelin Ginetta Junior racing right there. Absolutely crazy. There it is. You can see Livesy in the gravel. Obviously, we had the onboard a bit earlier on. Bit of a shame. That will be quite beast, particularly on the left side of the car. So the side we can't see, the car, the side that's obscured by the vehicle itself. But then there was the incident for Jocelyn, the incident for Douglas. A lot to look at, and a very crazy start to round 23 of the championship. For Suwuruthan, I think that'll be kind of nice. Again, a little bit of a breather. You can see that the polystyrene barrier, advertiser that was out there. There is one that you can see it's stationary or flattened in the gravel trap on the exit of the Sheen curve, and that is supposed to be upright. I saw it upright not that long ago, so clearly someone, I'm assuming Jocelyn, has made contact with that. There is Mackenzie Douglas reversing out. This is the car that we believe has just came to a stop. So we'll take a look at a few replays to see if we can maybe make sense of all of this. This was the race start. A good one again from Suwuruthan, but it was a poor one from Schwarzer, dropping back behind Palmovsky, and that there you can see the contact. So it's Chase Fernandez potentially, I believe, coming over the nose of, I think, Thomas Spragg. This is on board with Lively, so we can maybe see a little bit more as to what happens ahead. Watch it just coming over. Oh, there's contact there as a bit of a squeeze on board with Livesy, and you see the incident going off to the left-hand side with Chase Fernandez. I think it was with Thomas Spragg, so there certainly was that. This is what happened at Paddock with Livesy. I think that might have been maybe too much curb being used on the right side. It did seem as though it was a solo, and we'll get an onboard here. So that is the number 16 directly ahead of Thomas Spragg, and you can just see there, just the rear lets go. As you come up and over that crest, it just releases all of the weight from the rear of the car, and unfortunately, Livesy just going round is what it is. But as we see the live coverage return, Suwuruthan, Palmovsky and Schwarzer over the line. We'll investigate that one. We'll take a look at what happened over in the Sheen curve. So we'll take a look as to, that's quite a big off there from the number 19 of Mikey Porter. We were seeing them running wide. That's how he gifted the position effectively back to Hugo Schwarzer. But obviously this is the part of the circuit which has been biting all weekend effectively. And this is where Jocelyn had their issue as well. So that was how Hugo Schwarzer got back up into third position and then eventually took over second from Palmovsky. But I believe because that was as the safety car had come out, they set themselves in their position, and I believe they were told to relinquish that one. So Schwarzer has actually given the position back to Palmovsky. And that's why you see Palmovsky in that second position. So unfortunately, just a case of awkward timing there for Schwarzer. I'm sure will be a little bit frustrated in the car. I said before, Hugo Schwarzer took a 10th podium of the season in the previous race. So looking for an 11th now. Fair enough, we can all do maths, that's great. But would really like that to be a couple of positions better, and really like it to be another victory on the cards. We can only hope for Schwarzer that there might be the potential for more of that. Of course, safety car will remain out as they tidy up some of it. There's quite a lot of damage there on the front of Spragg's car after some contact. There is the car of Livesy obviously being pulled out to one side. Definitely, like when you're that far over that gravel trap, that car is comfortably out of the firing. It kind of feels a little bit dangerous, but no, it's not. It is so far out of the firing line. This gravel trap It's one of the most notable features of Paddock Hill. The gravel trap is so deep, it bites cars, and that is the entire point. It's very rare to see a car go all the way out to the barrier. Of course, there is barrier and protection all out there, but it is unlikely that you see too many cars going out there, so perfectly fine. There obviously just a couple of other things for them to tidy up. Douglas's car we saw getting reversed back out of the racetrack, and I believe Jocelyn's car has also been sorted, so it might well be this time when we get this race back underway. 12.5 minutes left to go from this point. So I believe once they get back round to the line, it'll be about 11 minutes of racing left to go, which is more than enough for us to get our quota for the day of crazy action. Fernandez is getting back underway in the race, courtesy of kind of being away from everyone. Actually set the fastest lap through all of that with a 2-minute 20.3, but of course safety car intervention as well. That's it's not 100% on. There you can see on the right hand side, probably quite a dejected Mackenzie Douglas, a bit frustrated Mackenzie Douglas indeed. Just again unknown as to what's gone on there, but we were talking about this yesterday when I was joined by Alex Sanderson, of course, as well as Harry Benjamin. The heat, and it's not even the heat; it's the humidity. It is really difficult to get a race car working in these conditions because when you're running the engine, you want as little cooling as possible on the engine because the more cooling equals more drag, and that you certainly do not want. So the safety car is going to come in, about 11 minutes on the clock left to go. Surathan will retake control of the race in the number 78. Palmovsky has regained second position after Schwarzer made their way through, and so Palmovsky will once again try and go on the attack. Certainly it seems as though that 21 car is fast enough to go on the attack. Maybe we might see an Elite Motorsports victory. We'll have to wait and see, though, as racing begins once again in the Michelin Ginetta Junior Championship. Couple of moves in the background there, as that will be Harrison trying to get past Porter in the first corner. Not done on this occasion. All of these cars going out a little bit wide. There's Thomas Sprague going out wide. The defensive line being taken from Surathan, feeling the pressure from Palmovsky. And one of the brilliant things about these cars, and what I love absolutely more than anything else, you can sit right on the rear end of the car ahead, meaning you can put that pressure on all of the time. We ride on board with Porter here in fourth position, so you can see our race leader, Surathan, feeling that pressure. Managed to hit the apex going through Graham Hill Bend, lovely though, so don't worry too much about that. There is the battle for sixth position, Edie Robinson. I think Hopkins had a bit of a problem in the opening stages. Once again, the gravel, grass, dust being kicked off as they head out towards Hawthorns Bend and onto the Grand Prix loop. And of course, this part tidied up and good because it's a brilliant overtaking opportunity. And we'd love to see a couple of attempts up here. There is Edie Robinson trying to make their way past Hart, who again started from fourth positions, dropped back a couple over the race start, but still seems to be settling themselves. You can hear the tyre squeals as they're working their way through the corner, slipping and sliding all over the place. Surathan holding that advantage. This is the most difficult corner on the circuit, in my opinion. You could use quite a lot of that curb on the inside. I don't think race control will be particularly pleased with that. You can see here with the number 38, by the way, of Harrison, that the left mirror has actually been rotated in, so that's not usable at the moment for Harrison, which could make things a little bit difficult when it comes to make moves to know whether you're clear or not. There is another look at it. It's actually pointing outwards, so everyone can get a lovely reflection of themselves as Harrison's car drives their way round. Halfway through the race then, and Surathan with the control, but control in this championship's never really an ideal thing. You're never fully in control, as once again the defensive line's being taken from Surathan through the first corner. Palmovsky's going to try and go on the attack, and this could come into a cutback up the hill. We're on board with Porter now, who's going to send it around the outside, trying to get past Hugo Schwarzer. And on this occasion, if you're all holding that inside line, if you're all holding the defensive line, this might well work. It gives the inside for Graham Hill. Almost contact between the pair of them. You can see in the top right, the mirror, the reflection of Schwarzer's car, which now finds itself completely behind Porter's vehicle. That was a lovely move from Porter. Whilst everyone was getting complacent sitting in line on the inside and the right towards Druids, Porter went, all right, lads, I've set the fastest lap of the race and I fancy gaining myself a podium position. Oh, but he's dropped two wheels into the dirt, and I think this might well be a potential move as well from Schwarzer to fire straight back through. Don't forget as well about Harrison, who might jump into the mix as well. They head up the hill. It's a two-horse race for the victory. Harrison looked to the inside of Schwarzer. No way to make that move just yet, and so it is Porter with the advantage in that battle for third. Big moment there as well from Robinson, pushing it out wide. Spragg rejoins the mix as well, who had a couple of issues on the restart. Oh my goodness, they're all over the place as they run through Westfield Bend, and it has opened up the opportunity for Schwarzer with a mega send coming up the hill. They go through Dingledell and up towards Sheen. Out wide, I think once again Schwarzer's going to go. It could be Porter straight back through. Basically the opposite of what happened earlier on in the race, and now there is contact. Porter's pushed off wide by Schwarzer, and now Harrison might well come through. Drops back in line. This is absolute madness. I am loving it. Hart has also made their way through, going around the outside into the final corner, and it is such a tight fight. Spragg, Robinson, they're kind of sat in there thinking, look, when are we going to get our chance in this? Robinson's was right now. He manages to make his way past Hart in all of that and up into 6th position. But wow, that was crazy. Still down the inside, that'll be Hart making their way back through on Robinson, and now Spragg's going to rejoin the mix. This is all the fight for third, that final spot on the podium, and it is constantly chopping and changing. It has become a 2-horse race for the victory between Samurathan and Palmovsky. They find themselves now 2.5 seconds clear of this absolutely crazy fight. If they keep fighting this hard, Chase Fernandez might be a part of it. You can see Fernandez there in the background, closing in. It was only by a few tenths of a second. It was about a second and a half really to the front of this field, so I wouldn't actually rule out Chase Fernandez being a part of this if they're going to continue fighting this relentlessly. As to be fair, we always expect the Michelin Ginetta Junior Championship. You can see the top two there with that 2.5 second gap, confirmation of it on the right side of the tower. Spragg taking a defensive line there for 7th position over Edie Robinson. Oh, out wide there. That could be a big mistake from Harrison, as I believe Porter might make their way back through straight to the inside at Westfield Bend. Watch out not to be pushed out wide there. Almost was done so, and it could mean that Harrison might be a sitting duck for Hart on the recovery drive. Said that Hart qualified in 4th position, started this race in 4th, had a poor start to it, but was able to work their way back into the mix comfortably for this podium fight. And you can see that the biggest gainer in all of this fight is Spragg and Robinson. They've worked their way up quite comfortably from mediocre qualifying positions, let's put it that way, and certainly showing so. Obviously, Spragg, I said before, was escorted off the circuit yesterday a little bit. That is not escorted off the circuit, that's him doing it himself. I think Spragg has just run wide. I wouldn't be surprised if Robinson crosses the line ahead. You can see that in the background. That is exactly what's happened. Just dipping 2 wheels through the final corner, and Spragg dropping back behind Robinson. We've got 5 minutes left to go in the race, and Palmovsky's getting hungry. She wants a victory. She wants to take one over Samurathan as we head down into Druids. There will only be around 3 laps left to go in this race, as track limits are being noted for car 19 and car 45. 45, of course, is Robinson down in 16th position, and the number 19 is actually for Porter, who's in this fight for the final spot on the podium. So Mikey Porter might have to worry a little bit about that, and maybe just control those track limits. In these cars, they're particularly used down at Sheen. You can really blast over Sheen. You can also leave a little bit going through the exit of the first corner, going through Paddock Hill. So that's what they're going to have to be very, very aware of. Coming up towards Hawthorns once again, the outside line being looked at by Mikey Porter, trying to get an inside line on Hugo Schwarzer, who just takes that defensive line up towards Westfield Bend. This could be an up and under, though, for Mikey Porter, and there could be the inside line being taken. There goes Schwarzer out wide. See if this up and under is going to work, and maybe a little bit of assistance as well from Harrison in behind. We rise our way through Dingledale up towards the Sheen curve, and that could well be the position made. That's Hugo Schwarzer out wide, rejoins the race circuit, losing 2 positions. Not just, of course, on Porter, but on Harrison as well. So Schwarzer now down into 5th position. Hart, I saw a little bit of gesturing in the cockpit there, and maybe not particularly happy with what he's seeing from Schwarzer's rejoin, and maybe saying, I'm not going to fight you. I don't know. But right now, they are fighting very, very hard. Penultimate lap of this one. Samurathan continues to lead. There has been no opportunity for Palmovsky to make one stick, but courtesy of, counter to Palmovsky's earlier move in the race, where she lost a position in doing so, that might not happen on this occasion. There is a move down the inside. Said Chase Fernandez was going to rejoin this one, and certainly has done so, picking up one on Thomas Spragg, and this is the move for the podium. That is a big send down the inside from Edu Harrison coming up towards Druids, and that is Porter dropping back not 1 but maybe 2 as I think Hugo Schwarzer might be onto the mix as well. Absolutely crazy. Around the outside, Hugo Schwarzer's going to go. Might also have Hart joining in the mix. We come up towards Surtees, and that is the is the battle for third position. There's contact there. Oh, that's going to be too aggressive. This could be 4 wide up towards Hawthorns. That was very sad for Harrison, being pushed straight off the road, and that has allowed Porter to come through, Schwartz to come through, Harrison to come through, and Hart. It all continue this fight. Hart's going to back out of this one, thinking not to go side by side with Robinson up towards Hawthorns. But wow, that was crazy. Big shame there from Harrison, who I don't think will be particularly pleased with what they've seen, because Harrison was doing so well in this race, and it was a bit of an unfair send. Yeah, just contact between the two of them. Once you get locked, though, it just pushes you straight off the circuit. Hart gets himself back into the mix and overtakes Edu Robinson on the ride to the hill. Robinson getting pushed out wide, though. Fernandez right into this. I said about Chase Fernandez's pace earlier on in this race. After an instant at the first corner, Fernandez is flying, absolutely flying. Could you imagine Fernandez getting a podium in this race? It could well be possible. I said about the penultimate lap of the race. I think, well, we might be on it now. We'll have to wait and see. There is a look at Robinson, who is off the road, unfortunately, in the number 45. That's Jack Robinson having a bit of an issue. They might well try and finish the race under double waved yellows. We'll have to wait and see on that one. But depending on where our race leaders are, we might be on the final lap now. We might have been on the, because they were so far ahead, we might be on the penultimate lap now. Either way, here comes a move from Hart. Backed out of a position, a lap or two ago, and now thinks this is my opportunity to make my way through. Straight around the outside of Schwarzer at Druids. Brilliant move from the number 50 there. Absolutely sensational. But again, it's Porter at the head of this. Then it will be Hart, then Schwarzer, then Fernandez, then Edu Robinson, and then Spragg. Take a picture of that, and I promise you it's going to change in about 5 seconds, because once we get up towards Hawthorns, I'm sure someone is going to go for a move. You can see Hopkinson with a lot of damage on the front end of their car, so unfortunately just a bit of damage. It's nothing too major, not quite to the same degree as what we're seeing there from Spragg, but both of these kind of falling apart just a touch. Obviously through the contact that we see in this race, we see fair amounts of elbows out racing. That's the joy of Ginetta Juniors, why it's really on the pathway, not even just into GT racing, but particularly over into touring car racing, whether it is here in the British Touring Car Championship or where it is elsewhere in the wide world. Also, you know, you've got big names like Luke Browning, Lando Norris that all make their start in the Ginetta Junior Championship. It's a big one for future superstars. Wow, that is an unbelievable catch from Luca Hopkinson. Absolutely amazing to have kept that car pointing in the right direction. You can see the timers counting down to 0, 3, 2, 1. The checkered flag will be displayed. It will be another win for Samurathan. Palmovsky in second. Who's going to come across the line in third? I was going to say Porter in third, but we just don't know it. Now we can get confirmation of that. Porter will cross the line in third. Then Hart, Schwarzer, Fernandez, Edu Robinson, Spragg. All of those separated by 1.1 seconds. Just incredible. That is why we love the Michelin Ginetta Junior Championship. Just brilliant racing, with future superstars, those that you want to see moving their way forward in the calendar of world motorsport. Certainly names you will see in world motorsport all over the place. But it's Samurathan again. Obviously took that victory yesterday, did Samurathan, and it was actually a first win for Samurathan. I was going to point that out a bit earlier. It was the first victory. It's why the celebration post-race was so energetic, and I'm sure it will be just as energetic taking a second victory. Schwarzer obviously was the driver that finished in second yesterday, just 5th place. Palmovsky was third yesterday and ends this one in second. So a solid race there and a solid performance from Palmovsky to move one better this race. We'll take a look at results from the race as well. Obviously, very much provisional. Regis Sawurthan taking victory for the second time this weekend. Alicia Palmovsky in second, Mikey Porter rounding out the overall podium. Then a couple of elite motorsports cars, Charlie Hart and Hugo Schwarzer in fourth and fifth. Chase Fernandez, unbelievable drive. Can we just give a round of applause for Fernandez recovering up the order. Edie Robinson, Tom Spragg, Luca Hopkinson and Finn Harrison rounding out the top 10. Alfie Davies, then Nick Ellis, Brie Anglis, Harry Moss and Holly Mayle. Of course, Jack Robinson in the gravel trap late in the race. Same with Henry Jocelyn, Felix Livesey and Mackenzie Douglas rounding out the order. You can see once again the reaction from Sawurthan straight out of the car. It got to be, you know, like walking on air for Regis Sawurthan at the moment. Taking a brilliant race victory yesterday, taking a brilliant race victory today. Had to really work for that one, let's not forget, because was really pushed up to the line by Palmovsky. Just leaning all over the place, trying to find any way through. Not able to make it, but that is what it is. We'll take a look at highlights from the race, and once again Sawurthan was starting this one from pole position. It was Hugo Schwarzer starting alongside in the front row, but a poor start from Schwarzer, dropping back into the clutches of Palmovsky. A crash behind saw Chase Fernandez going over to the left-hand side of the circuit, was undamaged and was able to continue. Plenty of racing up the hill. Hart having a poor start, dropping back into the clutches of Edu Harrison and then getting pushed off through Druids. One of our first incidents in the race, unfortunately, saw Livesey going off into the gravel. A couple of other incidents around the lap with Douglas and Jocelyn also would bring out the safety car. Once we got back racing, Sawurthan was in control, just over Palmovsky. The battling behind was starting to drag that battle for third off of the battle for the race lead, as the number 19 of Porter was able to make their way through on Schwarzer. A couple of changes all over the place, mostly courtesy of mistakes like this one from Schwarzer going out a little bit too far wide, and there was contact here with Porter being pushed off wide. It would drag everyone back into the mix, all of them looking for any opportunity to make their way through on this occasion. Again, a couple of mistakes as we ride on board with Mikey Porter trying to make their way through on Edu Harrison. That move would just about work coming up towards Westfield Bend. Track limits were all over the place. The only one breaching it really was Mikey Porter. Once again, out wide was Hugo Schwarzer. That would cost him a position to Edu Harrison straight around the outside. And of course, Hart into the mix. A couple of gestures from Hart to his teammate, also saying, oh, get on with it, mate. There was Harrison down the inside, taking over third position from Mikey Porter. Of course, on to the mix was Schwarzer in all of that. There was this contact over Harrison being sent off by Mikey Porter out into the gravel trap, would drop back, would be able to stay in the race, but dropping right back into the clutches. It was Sawurthan taking a well-deserved second victory of the weekend. Palmovsky behind from Porter as well to round out the second race for the weekend.